Each week, my guests and I discuss the issues that impact the black community. These issues include economics, business, education, digital technology, housing, agriculture, religion, and, of course, politics. Listen up as we go to the President of the United States as he opens up a moment for us to hear about the campaign and the issues that impact his campaign for the presidency of the United States of America.
The Senate passed a plan that I proposed a few weeks ago to protect middle-class Americans and virtually every small business owner from getting hit with a big tax hike next year. A tax hike of $2,200 for the typical family. Now it comes down to this. If 218 members of the House vote the right way, 98% of American families and 97% of small business owners will have the certainty of knowing that their income taxes will not go up next year. Everyone in Washington says they agree on this. Everyone says they agree that we should extend the tax cuts for the middle class. When Democrats and Republicans agree on something, it should be pretty easy to get it done. But right now, that's not the case. Instead of doing what's right for middle-class families and small business owners, Republicans in Congress are holding these tax cuts hostage until we extend tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. You see, Republicans in Congress and their nominee for president believe that the best way to create prosperity in America is to let it trickle down from the top. They're wrong. And I know they're wrong because we already tried it that way for most of the last decade. It didn't work. We're still paying for trillions of dollars of tax cuts that benefited the wealthiest Americans more than anyone else. Tax cuts that didn't lead to the middle-class jobs or higher wages we were promised, and that helped take us from record surpluses to record deficits. I'm going to keep fighting for an economy where we're not just putting folks back to work, but making sure that work pays off. An economy where every American, no matter who you are, what you look like, or where you come from, can have the confidence that if you work hard, you can get ahead.
But why should we care anything about what the president says around taxes?
Well, this is Diallo speaking. I think that whether Obama gets his way or not on this issue, I think he loses, and also the American taxpayer loses, because for some reason the Democratic Party continues to allow the Republicans to frame the issues when the issue, no one really, tax is not as big an issue as how much tax is paid. I don't care if I have to pay a fraction of the taxes that I pay now or if they're double. What's really important is how are the taxes allocated.
All right, Brother Burke.
This is William Birch, and I think that the whole tax issue is taking the attention away from the most important issue that's out here in America. Excuse me, and that's job creation.
Brother Michael X, what's up?
Well, I look at I consider myself to be a member of the middle class. I also am an entrepreneur, so I appreciate the concern with small business. But when I think about Obama's statements, I'm reminded of the words of Malcolm X, who said how we allow the Democrats to get into office every 4 years on the back of the black vote, but we don't have initiatives and programs that precisely, unapologetically, and specifically address black issues. Mm-hmm. And so I'm more concerned about him addressing black issues.
I think that Kenyatta raises a question that on this tax issue, the Republicans framed the issue and have pushed the president to having to respond to it, rather than, I think, to do or cut a different kind of swatch. Now, I'm for the president. Y'all know that. I don't believe that I can say that, but I'm also a balanced person. And should the Republican Party do something, or Mr. Romney do something that would advance the interests or issues of the African-American community, I'd probably be for him, irrespective of his race. But the bottom line right now is that we have a growing class of impoverished African-Americans. Tommy, what's your comment?
Dr. Finney, watch this. All you ever have to do is ask a Republican one simple question. What has the Republican Party placed on the table as a bill for employment? What has the Republican Party placed up on the table for relief of the tax-paying Americans who had nothing to do with the Ponzi scheme levied against the real estate market, and to this day, they have never received any sort of compensation. And your answer is absolutely nothing. And why? Because of the color of a person in the White House.
You said earlier that you were the author of an employment plan, an African-American employment plan that got signed into law. What was this Employment Act about?
The African-American Employment Plan Act was created to improve the employment opportunities for African-Americans in state government in managerial, technical, and supervisory positions. When we approached State Rep LaShawn Ford with the idea of the African-American Employment Plan, he agreed to carry it to the House, and we began from that point to educate the state of Illinois public about the bill and try to garner support. The bill did get passed.
Is it signed into law?
It is signed into law. It was signed into law by Governor Quinn in August 2010. And it was
Has it had any impact on getting black folk jobs?
You know what? We have an advisory council that meets quarterly, and yes, we have seen tremendous improvement. And actually, I'm a member of the advisory council, and what we're seeing is that we're meeting with various departments department heads, and we're talking about their recruiting strategies and their hiring strategies, and what methods they're going through to reach out to the African American community and find qualified individuals to fill these positions.
30-second comment. You got anything you want to add before we go?
It's just that I've heard these conversations before, and I just don't think that we're looking to aggressively attack these issues. And what comes to mind to me are the words of King. We need an absolute revolution of values. Revolution of values. Brother Burke.
Well, until we all start coming together, like Brother Kenyatta said, coming together collectively to get one agenda on one accord, to come together with one answer to the situation, like other races do, they work together. We have a hard time working together. We have to begin to build that kind of camaraderie.
Brother Kenyatta.
We are always responding to conditions and circumstances. We need to stop responding and start creating favorable conditions and circumstances.
And that's
ourselves.
it. We're getting ready to wrap up. Hey, this is Leon Finney. On Another Perspective, we have had a powerful conversation about what has to happen in black America for black folk to be able to succeed, produce, and be employed. This is Leon Finney, and you can run and tell that.